Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this final session of the training program, session number 15 on QGIS customization using Python. We have with us the guest faculty, Shri Nilay Nishant, who also has delivered the morning session on PyQGIS, Python scripting in QGIS. So I welcome Shri Nilay Nishant to deliver this session on QGIS plugins and customization using Python. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So let's, without any further delay, let us just start. Mm. Yeah. So before we dive into directly the plugin development and hands-on, I would just like to first go through like what are the different ways we can develop the plugin and what are the prerequisites that you would need before the development of plugin, uh, and some pros and cons of the different ways of development. So, if you are going for uh, s- if you are going for an all-out customized plugin, then you would need a software called as Qt Creator. If you are using Windows and you have installed QGIS from the standard QGIS installer, then this Qt Creator comes by default. If you are using any other platform such as Mac or Linux, then you'll have to install this separately. In addition to this, you would also need, in case of Mac and Linux, you'll need to install this PyQt library separately so that you can have your interaction with QGIS and Python APIs in a seamless way. Right? Next is you would need a good text editor. I would suggest go for something like VS Code, which is compatible in all the three platforms, that is Windows, Mac, and Linux. Finally, to build a plugin, you actually need to install a couple of plugins. And this plugin is called as Plugin Builder and Plugin Reloader. As far as the development of plugin goes, there are two ways based on which you can develop a plugin. The first one is a like the minimalistic way, or now it is actually the more modern way and more accepted way in the QGIS community. And this is called as the provider based method. All right. And if you open the folder structure, if you open the plugin folder structure of the plugin which you have developed using this minimalistic way, you would be able to see that there are many very little files that are seen here. Okay, and this is actually the folder structure of the plugin that was developed using Qt designer based method. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these two methods? So if you go for uh, a Qt designer based approach, you can have more control over the user interface. You can have a more customized user interface. Uh, but if you're going for something like a minimalistic plugin, then basically this plugin would be looking like any other plugin which is uh, currently being used in the QGIS environment. That is, it will be looking like your standard QGIS tools. All right. So, but the advantage here is this algorithm which you have developed here can be further utilized for expansion of your work. So you can make small modular plugins that will have an integrated. Uh, Hello. Yeah. Yeah. So that will be like an integrated big plugin you can create based on that. Uh, I'll explain in detail how what do I mean by that. But then further, if you just go about uh, the minimalistic plugin structure, so ideally it contains very few files. It contains the logo, it contains the core algorithm, it contains the initialization file, it contains the metadata about the plugin information. Then it contains some helper files. So this is the core algorithm, and these two are basically the helper files that will help us expose this algorithm to the public domain. So this is all what we need to know about plugin development. Now, before we dive into say what is minimalistic plugin and what how it can be extended as a provider, I'd like to show it to you in person how it can be extended as a provider. So right now you can see I have two plugins installed. Okay. One is a simple plugin that is like save attributes as CSV. Okay. Another one is a calculate temporal zonal statistics. This is the algorithm that we implemented in the first morning session. If you can see here, these two plugins are seen in the toolbox. Okay, these two plugins are seen in the toolbox, but only one of the plugins is seen in the actual this thing processing toolbox. Okay, that means I can go if the plugin is available in the processing toolbox, I can actually go ahead, right click, and execute this plugin as a batch process also. Okay, this is one advantage. Any algorithm that I'm running here, okay, gets loaded in the history, so I can also take it in the from the history and use this algorithm in coupled with some other QGIS processing algorithms to create some other plugin. So this actually acts as a processing algorithm also. So right now, if you see many of the modern plugins, such as I can show you here, this is one of the network analysis toolbox plugins. They also go ahead and implement in a provider based approach. So this plugin is called as QNEAT, QGIS Network Analysis Toolbox. This is going on a provider based approach. Even if you go for quick OSM, that is also going for a provider based approach. This is a white box tool, a very popular tool for GIS analysis and LiDAR data processing and ML operations. So this is also basically going for a provider based approach. Uh, Today I'll show you how to implement both. Okay, so that whenever you are going forward, you can take your call based on how you want your plugin to be designed and implement it accordingly. Fine. So, in order to understand how to basically start with the development process, first prerequisite was install these two plugins. So, plugin number one is called as uh, plugin builder. So, I've installed this already. Okay, this is called as plugin builder, and then there's another thing called as plugin reloader. You install this also. These two are the plugins. You can basically see it. It looks like this: one hammer icon, and there's one reload icon, refresh icon. Fine. Now the operations. I'll also show you how what are the two operations they are carrying out. So if you see the save attributes plugin, so I can simply go ahead, click a district boundary, and I can save this output. I'll probably save it in my desktop. Okay. uh, District underscore CSV. So this does nothing. It just uh, converts the vector layer and exports it as a CSV file. So it has successfully exported this as a CSV file. I can load this and I can open this as an Excel, and I can see that the district boundary has been uploaded. Now in the second one, we are basically implementing the same process that we implemented in the first half. We have loaded the district boundary, we have loaded the NDVI, and when we run it, it basically calculates the zonal statistics at district level for the different uh, timestamps. So these are the two functionalities that have been implemented using this plugin. So first, let us start with a minimalistic plugin. It will give you a much better idea to understand how the plugins are structured. Okay. Then we will go ahead and implement a more complex plugin. So in order to install uh, any plugin, or in order to start ahead with the coding for the plugin, you will have to actually go to the plugins directory. Where is your plugin installed? So as if you have done a standard installation of QGIS, you will have a plugin installed in this folder. So you have to go to settings, go to user profile, and open active profile folder. All right. So this will basically this will basically show these many folders. Now in this there is a folder called Python. In this there is a folder called plugins. This is where all our plugins are available. Okay, so I have installed a few plugins which can be seen here, and I will first start with a very basic plugin. So I'll call it as probably something like so I'll just name it as Hello World plugin. Okay. Now, in order to code this plugin, you will need a few files that needs to be added. Okay. Uh, so I'll just go here and open my VS Code. So I can simply go and type code here, and I've installed VS Code, so it opens VS Code in my Hello World directory. Right. It requires uh, three files. Okay. One is underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. All right. Second is uh, metadata dot txt. Okay. Third is probably hello world dot py. Okay. So these are the three files I've kept here. I can also probably copy a logo from somewhere, and I can paste that also here. So let me just copy a logo from here, and I will keep it here. Right. This is the logo that I want to like depict my plugin with. Now, if you want to basically code on these files, so the first file that we want to code is the metadata file. Okay, I have already prepared these files. So this is the metadata file. It basically holds all the information of the plugin. So something like this: what is the name of the plugin? What is the description of the plugin? What is the minimum version of QGIS required to develop on this plugin? And icon. Go ahead, save it. The next one is basically the second file, that is core algorithm. Okay? And the third one is init. So here I just need to change it to hello world. Fine. So if all these things are done, so all I need to do right now is first go ahead and restart my QGIS. Uh, yeah, so let it restart. Then let's go to manage and install. Installed. See, there's another one which says base map loader and it has come. So I'll close it. Now, yeah, anything? Any doubts, sir? All right. So now if I click, I can see that it is pushing a message called as hello from plugin. Okay. So this is what has been coded in here. You can also see the code for the same. All that this plugin does is under the run section, it basically pushes a message, nothing else. It pushes a message called hello from plugin. So now if you want to change this message, you can just go to hello to CWC course participants. Okay, save it. Now by default, it will not reflect whatever changes we have done. We'll need to reload it. So I think this is the one. Click OK. Sorry, I didn't save it. I think some reloading needs to be done, but this is how basically you can reload the plugin. So I have added a few more functionalities to it, such as if I click on this plugin, now there's a separate file which I'm opening. Okay, if I click on the plugin, I would be able to see the base layer which has been loaded successfully. So by default, it is loading an OpenStreetMap. So this is version 1. How do you implement a minimalistic plugin? Right. Now, if you want to go ahead and implement the algorithm that we had implemented earlier, there's a detailed code base which I've prepared this thing handout of. I'll share this handout with you all, and you can go ahead and try to implement the same code, and uh, it is fairly easy. You just have to create these 3 files and upload it into the same directory. So this is what I've done here. If you just go here, there's a plugin folder. In that plugin folder, uh, I have created a folder called as uh, a temporal zonal statistics. So in that, I have basically created 3 files. I can show you this. So these are the 3 files. If you see here, this is the core algorithm that we had written. This contains the processing algorithm zonal stats 1, zonal stats 2, and zonal stats 3. These three get pushed in to the output. This and this are basically the helper files which call the zonal stats algorithm and calls the functions from the zonal stat algorithm, all right, and helps us execute this process. Finally, there's a metadata file. The metadata file would be describing what do you want to do with this plugin, and the init file is basically uh, the file which would be first called, which will be initializing the plugin whenever you click on it. There's a logo. This is the logo which we are using to depict our plugin. And if I go ahead and if I click on it, it opens up the layers. So I'll just need to load the layer. Uh, we just go ahead and load the layers. Just give me a second. Mm, Yeah, no, sorry. It was here. So loading data one and loading data. I click here. See, now these things get automatically populated also. So the main advantage if you are doing a provider-based plugin is you get all the like core functionalities of QGIS by default, such as auto populate of these raster datasets. In other scenario, you will actually have to code it manually, and all this like the loading toolbar, the this thing process bar, everything comes by default. Okay, this iteration over features also. So if you're new to this feature, basically if you click this button, rather than creating one single file as output, it would basically create how many ever individual features it will iterate. It will create separate outputs, and if you run it, you'll get four separate outputs giving four separate shapefiles. So for some purpose, that is also useful. So this is how you can actually go ahead and implement a this thing provider based plugin. Now let me just go ahead and show you how to implement uh, a plugin designer based approach for plugins. So this requires a few steps to be done. It will not work by default. So in order to implement a plugin designer based approach, I'll first what I'll do is I'll create this new plugin. So you have to go to plugin builder, click on that icon, plugin builder icon. Okay, you click on this icon, and then you need to basically give required fields. So the required fields are basically the class name, then you have the plugin name, and you have information about the description of the plugin, the module, and so on. So let us just go ahead and fill all these data sets, and then further go ahead and understand how to implement it. So uh, I'll give it as save uh, attributes one. Okay, because I already have a plugin name as save attributes. So save one. So here you can give spaces, but you have to ensure that in class name you're not required to give spaces. Okay. So this plugin will save the attributes of shape as CSV. Okay. Then we can give the module name as save underscore attributes one. This is version number 1. Author name I'll give my name, and email ID is go next. This will be like a brief description on the plugin. So you can just write plugin is used to save. Go next. Now here it basically gives you a few templates. From here also you can go ahead and implement a provider based, but if you see here, it asks you under which section would you like to be placed. So it has a plugins section. If you see on the top, there's a plugins section, there's a vector section, there's a raster section, there's a web section, and so on. So let us just go ahead and implement it in by default plugins section. And how do you want to display, what menu you want to use? Save CSV attributes. So this will be the text that will display this information. So this will be like this, temporal zonal stats. No, so similarly it will be like. Now I can basically select all. Here don't forget to flag this as experimental. Click next. In here I've already kept a directory. Click generate. So the moment you click generate, you'll see that I get a like message like this. It says that you have successfully built your plugin, but and it is located in a particular directory. Okay, you need to install some resources, and also we can go ahead and use this file to go ahead and design our plugin. So let us just go ahead and first compile our plugin and then uh, design them. So what we need to do is first go ahead and compile the plugin. So this is plugin. So here is our plugin. I can copy and paste this plugin over here, and inside this I need to basically create a file, and this file I'll show this file to you. This file is this. You would need to copy this file and pen it, and we'll have to name this file as compile.bat. So can be seen here, we have to name this file as compile.bat. I can create a new file called compile.bat, and I need to paste this. Right? Once you have pasted, all that you need to do is basically uh, is it? Did I paste it somewhere else? I think I put it somewhere else. Let me just see again. I've given pasted it somewhere else. Sorry. File.bat, done, done. Now I can see it here. So all that needs to be done is double click this, done. So this is how you compile your plugin. Now, if you restart your QGIS, okay, you first need to restart the QGIS. I've restarted. Now, if I go to Manage Install Plugins, okay, I can see there's another plugin called a Save Attributes one. I can close this. Now, if I see here, it has a very basic, like a blank template user interface. All right. Now, our job comes is to how to design on top of this user interface. So, if you go ahead, there is a tool here called Qt Designer. So it comes by default with Windows installers. If you are using any other platform, you are required to uh, install this separately. Now I need to open this. I need to open the UI file of this particular plugin. So where is it? I can simply go ahead, click open. Now where is my plugin store? I can copy this link. I, if you see here, there are many things that can be done. There are a lot of user interface elements that can be added on top of this plugin. So there are few inputs and then there are few labels. So our main concern will be with reference to input widgets and label based widgets. We will first add the input widget as drop down. So we'll add a probably a combo box. This combo box is added. Then we will need to add a label. This is the label that we add. So this shows input vector layer. Okay, you can go ahead and save it. Now, if I go here, I'll need to reload. You can see here, this has been reloaded and you can see the input box that has come. But now, how do you ensure that the layers that have been uploaded here, suppose if I go ahead and load any particular layer, let's go ahead and load this. Right, this is the one. I want to basically load this information over here. Where did it go? Yeah. So the moment if I choose this, it should populate in the drop down. So this is the next part. Okay. So if you want to make such changes, then you'll have to actually uh, start coding onto the required files. So those files are also present in the QGIS folder directory. So let us just go and open the VS Code. And now we are required to edit this particular file called save underscore attributes underscore one. So uh, always try to focus on this part of the code. All your code will run from here. Any code that you write here will be executed. Others are all helper functions. Okay. So now I'll just copy a few imports and then we will just go ahead. This is import one that is need to be added, and second is we would like to fetch the data from the loaded layers. So this will go under run section. Uh, yeah. So this goes under run section. We need to put it here. Always ensure that whenever you're writing Python code, the indentation should be perfect. Python uh, codes will give error if your indentations are not perfect. So you have to maintain the indentations. Save attribute. Now close this. Go ahead. Reload the plugin. And now just one second. I'll just copy the code and it will be better. Let me just replace it here. Okay. I think it is because of the name which I've put. That is save attributes one. That is why it is creating an issue. But if you see here, it gets populated like this, final one. Now, similarly, what you need to do is you need to add few more things. Something else, you need to add the labels. So that is uh, the text label for load output, and uh, herein we will be requiring uh, to basically give an input, that is uh, a line edit and a push button. So there's a push button. Yeah, it's a push button. So you can just click here and you can either change it to three dots or something like that, and then you can simply go ahead and save it. So similarly, you'll be able to see now the, this thing is also coming up, and all that needs to be done now is just copy and paste this code onto your QGIS editor, VS Code editor, and paste it here, close it, reload it, and then execute it. So this is what you would need to completely execute the QGIS codes and everything. So this is how the both the process are being executed. So one is the minimalistic plugin, and another is the GUI based plugin approach. So if there are any questions on this, I can take it up on the chat box, or I can also basically explain one or two more concepts also if time is there. So I have this actions and all these things are also there. So that will also probably be beneficial for the officials.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So one thing that was uh, asked in the morning was regarding the map layout preparation. So this is the model which I was showing you. What I will do is will let me just load the QGZ file accordingly first. If you see here, I have a print layout that has been made available. I can go ahead, download processor. I can take India boundary. I can create save file. I can go ahead and save it in my directory. Click run. Okay. So this thing basically does the whole process of uh, downloading and printing the output. So QGIS by default has a download tool which is available. This download tool, if I can show you, uh, there is this download file tool which is available. All you need to do is basically put in the this thing URL which you want to download, and then it will you need to give the destination file, and once you click run, the data gets downloaded, and there is this map layout that has been made available. So this is the map layout. This map layout will automatically populate this data plus the data that gets downloaded, and it prepares a map like this. So this is the map that gets prepared according to how the data has been downloaded. So we can see here, this file is the file which gets downloaded. So this is the latest fire incidents that happens happened in this thing based on the today's event. I need to extract it. Yeah, so this is the fire incident. So this algorithm is very simple. It downloads this data, it clips this data based on the extent, and it just prints out the map. So this kind of automation can be done using modular. So the thing is, many times you don't actually need to know the whole coding process. You can simply chain the algorithms together using something like modelers, which can be seen here. It uses two tools. First tool is basically downloading the file. Second, it is extracting the file by the location, and then the output is happening. That is, it is printing based on the layout. So this is approach. This is one thing that I wanted to highlight. And second one was I something called as actions. Now, actions is very important if you are working on some large data and you want an event to be triggered whenever you are clicking a feature. So, uh, actions. See, basically, if you see here, I have this Assam boundary, and I can see that the grids are coded in yes or no. Okay. So whenever we are working on GIS layers, we would like to mm, basically work at grid levels many times, because if you are generating a large volume of data, grids are distributed amongst our peers, and each of them basically work on a separate grid. And one user basically compiles all this data and starts doing some QC work. In this case, if you go ahead and see, all these are coded as no, and there are few that are coded as yes. So how do you basically add an action to this? Okay, so you can see here there's a grid QC. Okay, if I'm clicking, it is turning green. If you were not doing this, then you would actually have to manually go ahead and click on this, uh, toggle editing, then go to attribute table, then go to the selected feature. Okay, go to the selected feature, change this to yes. So it is a tedious process, but now only by clicking this, I just deselect it and it turns green. So how do you do this? Okay, so this can be extended in many ways. Suppose for your purpose, if you have something like a river stations information across river Brahmaputra, and clicking here you want to know like what is the water level upstream. So on click, in a single pop-up you can probably generate something like all the upstream water level informations. All right, so some sort of complex queries can also be made in such a. So to basically implement actions, all that needs to be done is go to properties. Okay, and then there's against layer, and then there's something called as actions. Okay, in this you can basically go ahead and click this add button. For one layer you can have multiple actions. I've added only one action. This would basically go ahead, and I've just written a very small bit of code. Okay, it loads the feature, it goes to the particular feature ID, it changes the field to yes, and updates, and it pushes the information successfully updated. And that is how you are able to uh, implement this property. So this is a fairly useful thing. I believe that it will be useful for all of you if you know a little bit of Python programming, and well, able to are you are able to link it with QGIS. So thank you. If any questions we can take up. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Are,
Yeah.
are there any questions? Any queries? I think these sessions are a bit advanced for most of the users.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but they can. The idea is to just because we have been using so many plugins during the course. I wanted them to know that they can design themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll share the handout also.
Yes.
So that
For the morning session, I have downloaded the zip file. I don't know if the entire thing is required from your GitHub.
it is all these actions, everything are there. So I'll just show that GitHub, the
Okay.
structure. So if you see here, this is what you'll be getting. So this has a few scripts like the basics hello world script, adding layers, script on actions. There's a script on custom functions also. I have not covered this, but you can explore it. It is like if usually calculating area, calculating the location, all these functions are defined by default. Uh, so you can add this custom functions here. So this is where your all the scripts are present. This is where all the data is present related to the PyQGIS. The model which I had shown you is present here. You can load the model. Then this is the plugin. Plugin related data. What I'll do now is I'll also upload the plugins also. So whichever plugin we have developed, those two plugins will go here. So the users will can directly work on those two plugins itself. So once again, probably you can share the Git wherein these two plugins will also be uploaded.
Okay. Okay. The handout is inside.
Handout is a separate thing. I'll
Separate.
add that. I'll add that also, and I'll upload in the Git.
Okay. The it advanced GIS training, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Advanced, yes.
So, is there anything from your side, participants, you want to say anything or ask anything?
Sir, I am Dr. Ram Prasad. I just want to know whether there are any code we can write with artificial intelligence, like for extracting features like buildings or roads
Okay.
from the imageries in QGIS using the Google Earth imagery or Bing imageries in QGIS.
Okay, sir. So one thing is, uh, Google Earth, and you want to extract Google Earth imageries or Google Earth Engine? There are two different things.
Mm.
Google.
Sir, in QGIS platform, we want to extract any imageries, outsourced image like what we have added like XYZ tiles.
Mhm. Okay, so I'll show that quickly. What you can do. Okay, it is a two-step process.
Okay.
Huh. So one thing is you would need something like a extension, a plugin that is like a QMS plugin. Okay, Quick Map Services plugin.
Okay.
Huh. Here you can uh, load Google satellite data. Okay, this helps you load the Google satellite data. Let me just go to some location like this is Guwahati. Okay. Once you have done this, you would actually need to export this scene separately. Okay. So you can do like export map, export raster. I don't recall the tool exactly. Raster. One second, just map. I think it was map. Convert a map to raster. So this is the tool. Okay. Now, how you want to render it? So you want to go ahead and use map canvas extent, and then you can basically go ahead and type like the number of the units of the pixels and all these things. So you will have the tile size, and you can go for 1 meter. Okay, like 1 meter. If I click, and if I just click run, okay. Sorry, this is in degrees, no? I'll first need to change the projection. Give me 1 second. It has taken 1 degree otherwise. I think this should work. 1 meter. Yeah. So now you see here, I have turned off my Google satellite, but this has actually returned me a GeoTIFF layer. Okay, I can export this. This is part one of your solution. And the second part would be taking this data and implementing an AI algorithm on top of this. So for basically generating a high classification map on high resolution images, it is always advised that you go for some CNN based approach, convolutional neural network based approach, or now there's something called as vision transformers. So you can look up for something called as SAM geospatial. I can SAM geospatial, segment anything geospatial. Okay. So you can look at this. This is a much easier way of implementing it, where you can just upload this data onto a simple leaflet based library, and you can see some examples are here. Uh, Automatic mask generator. Let it load. So this is a good starting point for AI based classifications. You can use this platform. Examples are not, and so examples don't show images here, but it is. Let us see if it is there in their GitHub page. Should be. Yeah. So it returns something like this. Okay. So all that you need to do is select some user interface. From user interface, you need to define foregrounds at background locations. Click submit, and then it'll segment it and return it. So you can see automatically it is doing on the fly. The code which is required to implement this is very minimum code. 5 to 10 lines of code, you can actually implement such an operation. So this is how you can see here. The feature has been selected and you can. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sir, if you can share your mail ID and contact number, it will make more.
Yeah. I'm putting it in chat box.
Sure, thank you, sir.
This is email ID. This is. Can
Okay.
we extract contours from Google satellite TIFF file? Sorry, this cannot be done because Google Satellites is a like WMS layer. It does not have all these detailed information. You can alternatively use Google Earth Engine, and there you can use the DEMs, and from that DEM you can use it. One more thing is you can also there's an extension called Earth Engine plugin for QGIS. So you can also interact with Earth Engine directly using QGIS. So that option is also there. So for that you need to write Earth Engine codes in Python, and everything needs to be written in where is it? Here. Everything needs to be written here. Okay. You write here all the code, and it basically generates your outputs and everything. What is the accuracy of Earth Engine DEM? So see, it is not Earth Engine DEM. It is basically like standard SRTM DEM is available on Earth Engine. So you can use that. That is 30 meters accuracy. So you can basically use that DEM information. But now you have the Cartosat DEM is also available. So that is at 10 meters resolution. You can use that also. That can be downloaded from Bhuvan portal.
Cartosat dam at 10 meters is freely available. I think
Oh,
30 meter is available.
yeah, 10 meters for ISRO, this thing. Sorry. It is 30 meters is freely available.
Meters for ISRO units.
Yeah, ISRO unit, it is there.
Yeah, Mr. Someone has raised hand. Please go ahead.
You want to prepare a 3D model of DEM in QGIS. Okay. So for preparing a 3D model of DEM, there is an option here. Okay. See, there is something called as new 3D map view. Okay. You need to add this. Okay. Once you have added this, then you need to actually go here, configure, and you need to give your terrain data also. Now this is DEM based terrain, but elevation information should be available. So if you have loaded an elevation information here, then this map becomes a 3D map. So you can actually load this as a 3D map, and also after loading this as a 3D map, you can create some fly-throughs also. So fly-throughs is also possible here. So now I'm able to show you as a 2D because right now I don't have a DEM data here with me. But if you just change it here, change flat terrain to DEM. Okay, let us see if, online if it is showing. I don't think I've not tried it out. Yeah, usually it is not working in online mode, is not that accurate. Okay, so something is coming but not that accurate. Yeah, online DEMs are not accurate. You'll have to load your own DEM data and then it will show it accurately. So this is something which you can use for DEM based operations. You can use this to create fly-throughs. Everything can be done.
Okay, then there are no further queries. Behalf of National Water Academy, I thank Sri Nilay for delivering 2 sessions today, informative sessions, which open our eyes to the further customization of QGIS tools that is possible through use of Python. Thank you very much for taking these sessions. I will request the participants to join for question and answer live webinar at 5 o'clock for other remaining whatever we have covered during the training program. We are using the same link. We will again join at 5 o'clock. So thank you, Mr. Nilay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative for us.
Thank you, sir.